Namaste and welcome back to UD's Quickest Movie Reviews, and this is Udai. As always, I'm back with some wonderful filmmakers and their work that we are going to review in our show today. Before we start, let me thank all the subscribers who have been supporting us a lot. And if you're new to our channel and haven't yet subscribed us, now is the right time to hit that subscribe and the bell icon and be a part of our show. And if you're already a subscriber, now is the right time to hit the share button and help us reach all those talented filmmakers out there who have a great talent and has to be appreciated by us. With that note, let's get right into the show. So let us start our episode today with a very cute love story. The very first movie that we are going to review in today's episode is ACCHARI. ACCHARI is a cute love story with a pinch of mystery to surprise the audience. With a screen time of 22 minutes 33 seconds, the film is hosted on POOJAR Creations, a YouTube channel. The film basically starts with this young girl who is waiting for her boyfriend in a park. As it is her birthday and her boyfriend did not come to meet her on time, she is very angry. When he finally comes and sees his girlfriend is very angry, he gives her some ankle bracelets and a nose ring, which really changes the mood of this girl. As things go on well, casually the girl buzzes this guy. And the guy replies that he is with his friends and he is going to a place called Joke Falls. Joke Falls is the biggest falls in Karnataka. The girl gets excited and she tells him that she never saw Joke Falls and she requests him to take a selfie from a certain different point of this falls. And the guy promises her that he will take her to Joke Falls one day and also says that he is going to try to take photograph, but then as his mobile is having very little charge, he tells her not to bother if his mobile is switched off. And after this conversation, we are taken 1 month from the date, and then the screen opens where the girl comes to a village, and this little guy who is on road will talk to this girl, and the girl instantly starts liking this little guy and he asks him to show way to her boyfriend's house. Now, what did she discover when she went to his house? How is this little guy related to this girl? Who is this little fellow? How will the story end? Is a very interesting climax given to this film. Now moving on to the technical part. Story, screenplay, lyrics, direction, dialogues, editing is done by Mr. SANTHOSH V. POOJAR. The story basically is a very old storyline, and the screen time of 22 minutes 33 seconds is the biggest drawback of the film, as the film is too simple and extremely predictable for an audience. Frankly, the very first 10 minutes of the movie is just to establish and showcase the relationship between the girl and the guy, which was already understandable within the very first 2 or 3 minutes. Therefore, the song which followed after the scene was only to emphasize that audience should believe that they are very close. Frankly, that did not work out well, even when the poetic and beautiful visuals were taken in the song. Coming to the acting of heroine was too hyper. Sometimes it is really affecting the scene in a negative way. The dialogues of the movie were nicely written, but then due to the wrong timing or the very unusual pauses that actors took, the dialogues were sounding so unnatural and unrealistic. Now coming to editing, cuts were really good, color is decent. If only they could have tried to squeeze the length of the film, I think the movie would have been much more interesting to watch. Now moving on to camera, cinematographer Raju, Shiva, Bengaluru are the people behind the camera. Frankly, camera is the best thing about this movie. Some very nice angles and decent camera work can be seen in the film. At the end, this film, with a very long screen time and very loose and predictable screenplay and unnatural acting, really disappoint audience. However, this film does have a great visual and some interesting scenes to watch. Appreciating the whole team, here at UD's Quickest Movie Reviews, we rate ACCHARI a 2-star in our show. All the best.
ACCHARI is a romantic short film where we see a girl is waiting for her lover to come. The boyfriend, as usual, comes late, which makes her to feel angry. But he gives her some nose ring and convinces her for her birthday. After a few days, we see that the girl is trying to reach her lover over the phone, but it's saying switched off. So she decides to go to his home for a visit. What happens next is the thrilling way of this movie. The storyline and the concept is routine which we see, which is usual in these kind of genre. However, due to the slowness and the length of the screenplay, you might feel it stretchy. The director could have crisply done the screenplay so that he could have made the audience to glue to this movie more. Moreover, the way it was told or way it was ended could have been given little more convincingly manner, which was a little bit missing. But due to the lengthy of this film, because the thing is that the concept is so small and you will come to know right in the middle of the movie. But since the concept is so simple, when you blow up that, it makes you to feel that stretchiness. They could have cut short the song sequences or few more sequences where the interaction between the little boy and the girl happens, which could have been a little more crisper, so the screenplay and the timeline would have been a little more short, which makes the audience more engaging. When it comes to cinematography, it was done beautifully, especially those song sequences where the way it was shot was told in a beautiful or shot in a beautiful manner, which also is one of the backbone of this movie. Like in editing, it was good, but they could have done a little more crisper. It would have been much better. Overall, I rate ACCHARI a 1.5 out of 5. Good luck.
The next movie that we are going to review in our show is Karthik Sara. The film is a Tamil short love story, and with a screen time of 14 minutes 38 seconds, the film is hosted on Mohan Raja YouTube channel. So the film is very simple. There is this gang of 5 people in which one person, Mr. Karthik, loves this girl within the group named Sara, and all the other people try to make this love happen to them. And then one fine day, Karthik proposes Sara and Sara accepts it, and everything goes on very well until one day when Sara is very angry because Karthik went somewhere without even telling her for 2 weeks. And when he returns after 14 days, she is damn angry on this fellow. When Karthik hands her a gift, as she is very angry, she throws it on road. Karthik walks towards the gift to pick it up, and that is when he is hit by a car. Now what happens next? What will Sara do? How will this story end is a heart-touching ending given to this film. Moving on to technicality of the film. The film is directed by Mr. Mohan. Frankly, the film's storyline is too old and very simple. The screenplay of the film is really need to be worked on. The starting of the film is just like a montage and does not have a proper flow, and it's a bit disturbing to watch. But slowly and steadily the tempo of the film is well balanced. Audience can easily predict the story, and that might be one of the reasons why audience will be disconnected from the film. Moving on to cinematography and editing. Both the departments are handled by Mr. Karthik, and camera work is fairly decent. I'm sure they could have avoided these unnecessary head cuts, and I'm sure he could have composed his frames much better. But then whatever they did was decent enough. Now coming to the editing, I must say the cuts were really decent. But then when it comes to transitions, the very rapid dip to black transitions were really disappointing, and they were disturbing the mood of the film. And talking about color was too strange. I could not understand why did they use such a pale color for such a colorful movie. They could have used some really orange and tealish kind of coloring, but then they chose to use a very desaturated color which was not contributing at all to the movie until the climax. To sum up, very old storyline, very slow narration, and nothing new in execution will bore the audience. But then I must say it is a great attempt, and I'm sure they are going to come up with some wonderful films in coming days. Appreciating the whole team, here at UD's Quickest Movie Reviews, we rate Karthik Sara a 2-star in our show. All the best.
Karthik loves Sara. இந்த ஷார்ட் ஃபிலிம் எடுத்துக்கிட்டிங்கன்னா ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகுது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு கெட் டுகெதரில் கார்த்திக் சாராவை மீட் பண்ணுறாங்க. பசங்க மூலியமாக அங்கே இங்கே கனெக்ஷன் கொடுத்து ஃபைனலாக இவங்க 2 பேருக்குள்ள ஒரு லவ் பற்றிக்கிச்சு. ஒரு கட்டத்தில் கார்த்திக் அவர் ஆஃபீஸ் வேலையா வெளியில் போயிட்டார். அது சாராக்கு தெரியாது. அந்த ஒரு ரீசனை வச்சு இவங்க 2 பேருக்குள்ள ஒரு சின்ன ஃபைட் வருது. அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன நடக்குது, அதுதான் சுவாரஸ்யமான கிளைமேக்ஸ். இந்த ஷார்ட் ஃபிலிம் கான்செப்ட் ஸ்டோரி எல்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நார்மலாயிட்டு நம்ம இந்த படத்தில் பார்க்குற மாதிரி வர ஷார்ட் ஃபிலிம் ஸ்க்ரீன் பிளே அண்ட் எல்லாமே கான்செப்ட்லேருந்து எல்லாமே நார்மலாக தான் இருக்கு. பட் சம்வேர் உங்களுக்கு ஒரு கனெக்ட் ஆக மாட்டீங்க அந்த காஸ்டிங் கூட, இல்லைன்னா அந்த ஸ்டோரி கூட. மேபி அந்த அந்த மேல் அண்ட் ஃபீமேல் லீட்ஸோட அந்த ஒரு கெமிஸ்ட்ரி மேபி இன்னும் ஒர்க் அவுட் ஆகலையோ அப்படி ஒரு லைட்டாக எனக்கு ஒரு ஃபீல் இருக்குது. ப்ளஸ் அந்த ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸோட அவங்களோட சரௌண்டிங்ஸ் எல்லாம் அந்த ஒரு காஸ்டிங்கில் கொஞ்சம் ஒரு ஸ்டில் ஒரு கன்ஃபியூஷன் மாதிரியே ஒரு ஃபீல் இருக்குது. மோரோவர் இந்த டெக்னிக்கல் ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ஸ் பார்த்திங்கன்னா இந்த சினிமாட்டோகிராஃபி ஆகட்டும், அந்த பிஜிஎம் ஆகட்டும், இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் பண்ணியிருக்கலாம். ஏன்னா அந்த ஒரு மூடு அது க்ரியேட் பண்ணுறது என்னமோ அது கொஞ்சம் ஃபெல் டவுன் மாதிரியே தெரிஞ்சிச்சு எனக்கு. மேபி ஒரு ப்ரெடிக்டபிள் ஸ்டோரி ஆஃப் லவ் ஜானர் இருக்கிறதுனால என்னமோ ஒரு எங்கேயோ ஒரு ஸ்டில் ஒரு ஃபீல் பார்த்தோன்னா ஒரு மாதிரி எங்கேயாச்சும் ஒரு இன்கம்ப்ளீட்டான ஒரு ஃபீலிங் கிடைக்கிது. எஸ்பெஷலி சொல்ல போச்சுன்னா ஒரு சீக்வென்ஸில் ஒரு சின்ன ஆக்சிடென்ட் சீக்வென்ஸ் இருக்குது. அதில் அந்த சீக்வென்ஸை ஒரு எமோஷனல் ட்ராமா, அது ஒரு ஹை எமோஷனல் சீக்வென்ஸ். அது அங்கே நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அந்த ஒரு ஹெவியான ஒரு எமோஷன் நீங்கள் எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ணுவீங்க. அந்த ஒரு சீக்வென்ஸில் ஒரு பெரிய பெரிய ஆக்சிடென்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் பார்த்துருக்கோம் நம்ம. லைக் லாட் ஆஃப் ஃபிலிம்ஸ் லைக் ராஜா ராணியில் இருக்கட்டும், இல்லைனா கனவே கனவே அந்த சாங்ஸ் எல்லாம் பார்க்கும்போது இன்னும் கேட்கும்போது உங்களுக்கு அந்த ஒரு ஃபீல், இன்னும் அந்த ஒரு எமோஷன்ஸ் இன்னும் இருக்கும். அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஃபீலிங்கோ என்னமோ அந்த ஒரு எக்ஸ்பிரஷன் அது வந்து ஃபுல்லாக லெட் டவுன் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. ஏன்னா அங்கே வந்து அந்த காஸ்டோட அந்த ஒரு எமோஷன்ஸ் தான் வந்து அந்த 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 சீக்வென்ஸுக்கு இம்பார்ட்டண்ட்டானது. அது என்னமோ ஒரு ஒரு சட்டலானவோ இல்லைனா அண்டர் பிளே ஆன மாதிரி ஒரு ஃபீல் இருந்தது. ஸோ மேபி அதனால என்னமோ எனக்கு ஒரு ஒரு இன்கம்ப்ளீட்னஸ் ஃபீல் ஆகுறதா என்னன்னு தெரியல. வேர் தி டைரக்டர் அங்கெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் நோட் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தாங்கன்னா இந்த படம் இன்னும் சூப்பராக இருந்திருக்குமோ அப்படின்ட்டு ஒரு ஃபீல். சினிமாட்டோகிராஃபி, எடிட்டிங் அண்ட் அதர் ஸ்டப்ஸ் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அவங்கவுங்க ரோல் என்னமோ அதை பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. பட் இந்த சினிமாட்டோகிராஃபி, எடிட்டிங் எல்லாம் இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் ஒர்க் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்கன்னா அந்த இந்த படத்துக்கு ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு முதுகு எலும்பாக இருந்திருக்கலாம். ஒன் ஆஃப் த இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் த மூவி கூடயும் இருந்திருக்கலாம், which was little disappointing. So with this I rate Karthik Sara a 1.5 out of 5. Good luck.
The next movie in our review list is VETO. VETO is a wonderful experimental English short film hosted on Whole Picture Films YouTube channel. With a screen time of 7 minutes 54 seconds, the film really is mind-blasting to watch. The film frankly is an abstract. To start with, the film starts establishing this old couple. Seems very happy when they are together. However, when they are alone, we see a different characters altogether. One day, the wife packs her things and runs away from home. And this husband looks heartbroken. He walks into a restaurant with a gun in his hand. And we see that there is his wife talking to her friends, I guess. And this husband walks towards his wife, pointing his gun onto head of his wife and tells her that she only has 2 minutes to save herself. Now what will he say? How will the story end? Is a wonderful, mind-blasting ending given to this film. Now coming to the technical part, written and directed by Jeremy Browns and Julia Petrix, the film is really wonderfully done. Though the film is very confusing at the beginning, but then the very second this restaurant scene starts, the audience will be shook by all the emotions and all the ugliness that we usually avoid to talk about. A lot of untold ugliness of the married life is spoken in this film, and that is really hard for one to compose these unspoken emotions into a script. And I must say that is the greatest thing about this filmmaker. However, I must say the climax was too sudden, and somewhere I was expecting something very big at the climax, and that was a bit disappointing for me. Moving on to the camera, Jeremy Browns is the eye behind the viewfinder. A really decent job. Not many moments and angles, but then he just did enough so that he can tie his audience to their seats and watch this film without blinking their eyes. Wonderful lighting, by the way. Talking about editing, Julia Patrick's editing was really decent. Cuts were absolute and color of the film really was wonderful and enhanced the feel of the film. To sum up, this is a wonderful experimental. One should watch it if you are ready to accept the awkwardness of the family and married life that we often try to ignore. Films like these are very rare. I wish you guys do not miss this movie. I'm sure you are going to love this movie and hope they make many more such wonderful films. Appreciating the whole team here at UD's Quickest Movie Reviews, we rate VETO a 4-star in our show. All the best.
VETO. How complicated is a marriage life? What are the feelings going through a wife and a husband. How they confront each other is the gist or the story of this particular short film. As soon as I saw this movie, I was simply in love with the way it was shown visually. Because the thing is, the director has touched a concept which is so good, and the way it was shot was extremely amazing. As a general audience, I feel if you see this movie twice, thrice, maybe more than that, you can come to know about it. But as a film lover, you will really love to see this movie again and again and again. It was simply outstanding. The way it was shot, way the cast, especially the female lead and the main lead, it was almost like a competition between them. They were living into that character, which was so live, and they've given that character complete justice. Credits to the cinematographer, editing, and each and every crew member in this movie. Overall, I rate VETO a 3.5 out of 5. Good luck.
Now that brings us to the last movie of the episode, and the last movie of the episode is Haunted Highway, Bhutiya Rasta. The film with screen time of 3 minutes 13 seconds, the horror-based quick movie is hosted on Feather in the Cap film YouTube channel. The movie basically is about this haunted highway where at a certain point people are getting attacked by a paranormal entity. Now that is the gist of the film, and as this is a quick movie, I cannot give out much storyline. So let's get right into the technical details. Story, screenplay, direction and editing is done by Mr. Sanjeev. The film frankly has absolutely no story whatsoever, but then I think they were trying to make a film, a horror film, and they were testing their skills to scare their audience through their visual. Editing was not really that gripping. Frankly, the visual parts were making this film painfully slow to watch. The color tones will really affect the eyes of audience. Frankly, when I was watching this movie, my eyes were constantly getting tired because of the color tones. I think they really should have worked on their pre-production so that they can understand their product and absolutely work on what exactly they wanted to achieve. Speaking of camera, Mr. Dev is the person behind the camera. I see some very basic shots were done. There was not much experimentation went on, and they were not even concentrating on their light. Light was the most important thing that they should have concentrated on, because it was really disturbing for the viewer. At the end, the movie is just an experimentation of testing their skills to scare their audience through visual, but then it was not happening due to the technical errors and some of the very basic things that they had to concentrate on. Hope they will upgrade their skills and scare us with their next movie. Wishing them all the best. Here at UD's Quickest Movie Reviews, we rate this film a 1.5 star in our show. All the best.
Haunted Highway. Haunted Highway is a story or a horror genre, as we say it from the title. Like a guy who is traveling in a bike comes across a bedsheet which is being lying on the road. So this guy goes up, picks up the bedsheet. What happens next is the rest of the story. The storyline and the concept is so simple, and was okay. But when you see as an horror concept, those edge movement or the things which can go wrong, or they could have tried few more spooky things happening around, which was a complete letdown in this movie. The screenplay, they should have been concentrated more, because in this genre, like I all used to say, in this genre, screenplay plays a vital role. It's very, very difficult to make a horror movie, and if you want to make a horror movie, it's a big challenge, because as I said, you have to make your audience to sit in your edge of the seat. If you give that edge of the seat experience, then you are a best in horror movies. The director could have referenced lot of more horror concept, no matter whether it's respective to the story or irrespective to the story, because completely I felt like after seeing this there was a lack of pre-production, because there was a lot of confusion happening in this movie. What is he trying to say from this movie? What is happening around that particular sequences which is happening in this entire shots? The few or the climax were not that much gluey to that particular concept. So Haunted Highway, you can shoot lot of kind of things, and I think the lack of lack of pre-production was a bigger minus in this particular short film. And especially the cast, they could have gone with some other thing. They could have homeworked on those sequences which that cast is enacting, which could have enhanced this movie a little more. Cinematography, editing and other aspects was not up to the mark, but could have been better. With this, I rate this horror flick a 1 out of 5. Good luck.
Now guys, that brings us to the end of the show, and as always, thanks a lot to Mr. Venkatesh for being our special reviewer of the day. And thanks a lot to everyone for making our new program You, We and a Filmmaker a success. The next episode of You, We and a Filmmaker will be released on Sunday at 6 p.m. Don't forget to watch it and know a lot about our filmmakers. And as always guys, you can watch all these films that we have just reviewed by hitting the link given in the description below. Watch them and let us know what do you think about these movies. So guys, if you are a filmmaker and want to take part in our show, all you have to do is just get into the description, hit one of the social networking sites and inbox us your film link. Again, it's film link, not the channel link. Film link, and write to us that you want us to review your film in our show, and we will review your show. And not to forget that we have a WhatsApp group where we constantly discuss about filmmaking, we exchange a lot of plan, and we try to come up with new techniques of making films. We want all of you guys to join our WhatsApp group. The link is given in the description below. And we will be very happy to listen to you guys, to understand, to discover new techniques that we really want to implement in our show. Now with that note guys, till we meet next week with some wonderful filmmakers and their work that we are going to review in our show, this is me Udai signing off. Namaste.